Tim Kaine just dismantled Trump's nominee, straight to his face. This wasn't just about a Facebook post taken out of context. Kaine exposed exactly how racial bias, double standards, and reckless firings are eating through U.S. diplomacy, while Trump's people pretend not to notice. Watch how Kaine corners him and why his warning should alarm everyone.
Mr. Mayor, I want to ask you about another one before moving on to other witnesses. In a Facebook post that you put up in November of 2023, you praised the actions of Houthi rebels in hijacking and kidnapping the crew of the cargo ship, the Galaxy Leader, and noted, quote, "The kidnapped ship doesn't fly the Israeli flag, but it's painted completely with it, blue and white colors only," close quote. Do you continue to support actions by the Houthis, who are a U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization, in kidnapping innocent merchant sailors and disrupting shipping in the Red Sea?
Thank you, Senator, for that important question. You know, if you go over my social media since 2011, you would know how strong opponent and how much I disagree with the Houthi, to the point where I cannot travel to Yemen. I'm in their blacklist. I mean, it's so.
So are you denying that you posted a Facebook post celebrating the kidnapping by the Houthis of the particular crew of this ship, the Galaxy Leader?
I don't think it's a celebration. This is assumptions that's making. I disagree with attacking the ships and disrupting.
But are you denying that you posted what I just read to you?
I think there was a post, but it seems like it's taken out of context. Maybe I commented
on. Well, I'll share it with the colleagues before we take up your nomination in committee. Mr. Bozell, I also just want to echo what Senator Murphy said. It is an easy question. It's a layup when you're asked the question of should our refugee programs be race-based. Our Constitution in the 14th Amendment says all persons, not all citizens, all persons in this country are entitled to equal protection of the laws. You'll take an oath. You'll take an oath to support that Constitution should you be confirmed. It's not a hard question, and your unwillingness to answer it is very troubling. I want to ask you this. Are you aware of the Freedom Plus Party in South African politics?
No, Senator.
Okay, I'll tell you, the Freedom Plus Party is an Afrikaner political party that has the most representation of Afrikaners in the South African parliament, and that is part of the national unity government. It was a party that used to be in opposition, but since 2024 has been part of the national unity government. The Afrikaners that President Trump believes are being persecuted are actually represented by a party that made the decision to join the national unity government, and I think that's something you should pay some attention to. Ms. Namdar, I want to return to the questions that were being asked by Senator Rosen about visas. Really, really important work. During a hearing here on July 16, Michael Regas, who's the Deputy Secretary for Management and Resources, was asked a number of questions about how rifts and firings were affecting the State Department, and in particular were affecting the issue of consular affairs and visa issues. We asked, based on these rifts, who would absorb these functions. You would agree with me that passport and visa fraud prevention is very important to our national security, correct?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Of course, all of our visa and passport services are important to national security.
And do you know, as you are nominated for this position, who is going to absorb the functions that have been made more complicated by the significant rifts within the visa and consular area?
Thank you for the question, Senator. As you know, I'm not yet confirmed, so I'm not privy to the information that you're citing. I'm very happy to look into it when and if I'm lucky enough to be confirmed.
Let me ask you another question. My staff has heard informally, I have a lot of State Department folks that live in Virginia, so we get a lot of stuff coming in over the transom, that the State Department is breaking a longstanding practice and no longer evaluating dual citizens for wrongful detention determinations under the Levinson Act. Do you know what the Levinson Act is?
I'm not familiar, sir, but I haven't heard anything about what you've just stated.
The Levinson Act was signed into law in late 2020, and it provides a framework for the Secretary of State to review cases to make a wrongful detention determination for U.S. nationals. And the act does not allow for a distinction between a U.S. national and a U.S. national who has dual citizenship. Have you heard anything about the State Department making a determination to no longer pursue wrongful detention cases for U.S. nationals who also have dual citizenship in other nations?
Thank you for the question. I am not familiar with what you've cited. I'm happy to look into it when and if confirmed.
If confirmed, will you ensure that the United States follows the Levinson Act?
If confirmed, I will ensure that I try to comply with all laws.
And you will work to ensure that the administration does not discriminate against U.S. nationals who also have dual citizenship?
I don't believe this administration would discriminate against anybody, and I will work to uphold all laws.
Thank you for that.
What you just witnessed wasn't a gotcha moment. It was accountability in real time. Tim Kaine pressed a Trump nominee who literally posted content celebrating Houthi kidnappings. And instead of owning it, the man tried to hide behind the word context. That word, context, has become the refuge of people caught red-handed. But Kaine wasn't buying it. He pulled the conversation straight to the Constitution, reminding him that equal protection applies to all persons, not just those who fit a political narrative. And when Kaine brought up the South African Freedom Plus Party, he wasn't going off topic, he was showing how Trump's worldview bends reality to fit persecution fantasies. Because while Trump claims Afrikaners are being oppressed, the party that represents them literally joined South Africa's national unity government. Then Kaine shifted gears and hit another nerve. How Trump-era rifts and firings hollowed out the State Department, gutting visa processing, and even compromising national security. The nominee couldn't answer basic questions. Not about the Levinson Act, not about wrongful detentions, not about protecting dual citizens abroad. Nothing. This is what happens when political loyalty replaces competence. Kaine's message was clear. The Constitution, the law, and moral clarity are not optional. This exchange wasn't just embarrassing, it was revealing. Because when someone nominated to defend U.S. diplomacy doesn't even know the laws that protect Americans overseas, that's not just incompetence, that's danger. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Left Lens, where we pull no punches and expose the real stakes behind these hearings.